All right, here we are in Adobe Animate, and you can see I've got this little hand-drawn animation going on. This is me sledding over ski week, and yes, I end up falling very shortly after this was shown, and I can actually show you the whole thing. So you see me sliding down this hill, and then I fall, and actually severely hurt myself. It was very painful. I do not take pain very well, so there we go. I'll probably cut that out of this video here. Okay, so what we're going to do first is actually download this file. So if you have not downloaded the file yet, let me show you what it looks like in Classroom. I have this assignment called 2 rotoscopes because you'll end up making 2 rotoscopes. And you're also going to download the first one here, which is a Adobe Animate file that is already set up very nicely for you. Yeah, you need to click on the download button. That will show you the download here, the progress. It will put it in the downloads folder for you, but conveniently you just click on it here from Chrome and it should open up the Adobe Animate program. And now I have a bunch of blank frames. So I'll play this again and you'll just be able to see me fall and kind of hurt myself. It does look a little jerky because I've removed a lot of the frames. Originally for about 7 seconds of video, this would have been 200 frames, so I got rid of 170 frames for you. You're welcome. 165. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started, and I'm going to bring my cursor, my playhead here, which is this little red bar, to the very beginning of this animation. And I'm going to show you how I made that bad idea animation. And you're going to start by using the brush tool. So you can hit the B key on your keyboard, and we'll switch to that. But your brush is also right here. Avoid the paintbrush tool, which is the Y key. So we're trying to use the brush tool. And I'm going to pick a color. So the fill color here, let me pick something. I'm going to go with like something purple. Now, one thing I want to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit because it's easier to draw on these tablets when you're more zoomed. So I'm going to do Control plus. And because I know I'm going to draw like up in this area too, I need to move this object, it's called the stage, down a little bit. So to move that, I'm going to hold on the space bar. It will give me my hand tool, and that will give me all this space right here. So I'm going to have my son saying, bad idea. So let's begin. I'm going to double check one thing though. Make sure that you're on your video frames layer here. That you're not on the video frames layer. Notice I'm on the drawing layer. You cannot draw on the video frames layer. First of all, because you have it locked. Second of all, you're just not supposed to. So, okay, I'm going to start writing this out. Bad. And then the other one I did, idea. Kind of fun. Okay. From here, I'll just do a quick thought bubble around it. Without going into Rex's head there. Okay, awesome. So there is the first frame that I'm going to animate. And now that I need to make my second frame, I'm going to hit the period key. So the period key and the comma key. Watch what happens if I hit the period key. That will go away, and I'll keep hitting the period key. You can see me kind of scrubbing through this. Comma key lets me go back. Okay, so I need to be on the second frame. I'm going to hit the period key to go forward 1 frame. And I'm a little lost right now. I don't know where to write bad idea because I want them to be essentially in the same area. So to fix that, we're going to turn on onion skin. Onion skin is right down here, and it is this little button there, onion skin. Your keyboard shortcut's a little different than mine, so we're just going to click on this button. So when I do that, bad idea pops up, and it's in purple now. It's like a different color purple. And what that means is it's showing me the previous frame. It's showing me what's on the previous frame. And from here, I'm going to trace around this again. And I might make it bigger. I think in my example, I started making things bigger. So I'm just going to make the letters get a little bigger. It's going to have a kind of a jittery effect. I might make it go bigger and smaller as we go across. You might want to animate something like shooting at me. That's fine too. Okay. Like so, like so, like so. Okay. And I'm going to use the comma key to go back one just to kind of see how it looks. That's kind of a fun animation so far. And then we'll finish the thought bubble here. Do not do exactly what I'm doing, by the way. Have him saying something different. Maybe have a conversation between the two of us. Whatever you want. I'm going to hit the period key to go forward one more. And so notice that this onion skin is showing me the last 2 frames that I drew. And that's what these controls are here. So I can drag this little blue thing to the right, and it will only show me my 1 previous frame, like so. The green circle shows you frames in front of you. So a lot of you, I've noticed, had like a big green overlay. You can get rid of that by clicking and dragging this over, and then it will get rid of that. I don't have that problem, but some people will. Now on the 3rd frame, I'm going to trace this one more time. And like so, like so. If you only have this on like 2 or 3 frames, like I have right now, you know, you might be sitting here going, oh my gosh, I'm so bored of drawing this thing. I just can't go any longer. We're gonna make it kind of hang out for a while. It cannot just be there for 2 or 3 frames. It needs to be there for like 6 frames. Otherwise, it's not there long enough to read it. And even though I've been sitting here for 5 minutes or so drawing this, I can read it great, and I made this too, so I know what to expect. But for a new viewer, you're gonna want to show them these things for at least 3 or 4 frames, 5 or 6. Now I'm gonna use the comma key and go back. So you can see it's kind of getting bigger. Okay, now I'm going to go to my next frame. I'm going to hit the period key. I will use the bracket key to make this a little bit smaller. The bracket key will let you make your brush smaller. So now that I've kind of drawn this for a few frames, I'm going to start fading it out. So the first frame I will draw, and I'm also going to like leave some gaps too. And the gaps are going to act as my little fade out. And then after I start going, this bad idea thing will like just be gone, right? Like it disappears and you'll have something else to animate. You can see I'm kind of forgetting. I'm making it very sketchy. That's okay. Don't mind. Don't mind. Awesome. And oh yeah, gotta do this too. So hopefully you're doing this a little neater than me, maybe not as quick. Okay, period. And then I'm going to make my brush smaller and then make the gaps even more prominent here in my design. So you can tell over a few frames this is going to fade out. Yeah. What else can we do to this? Let's preview it now. I'm going to click on this loop button so it'll keep looping, and then now it's showing me what it's going to loop, so we'll just select the 5 frames and hit play. So you could see that kind of starting to fade out. That's very cool. Let's show you another idea. Some people are doing like laser beam eyes, so I like that idea. My son is very sweet here, but there's something suspicious about the way that he kind of moves across here. On this frame, we're now going to give him some red eyes, which will eventually shoot out at me. So I'm going to pick a different color here. Choose like regular plain red, like fire engine red. And on this frame, I'm going to, first let me turn on onion skin. So I can't see anything because the last frame I drew was like really far away. If I were to drag this blue dot over, some of the onion skins will pop up. But I really only want to see like 2 or 3 previous frames. And because this doesn't have anything to do with the text, I don't really need the onion skin. That's black. Let's go back. Choose red. Dot. Okay, so that's a first frame where we realize something is wrong with my son. I'm going to hit the period key to go to the next frame. So here is where I drew that first eyeball. Now I need to come over here though and make them slightly longer. Right? So it's not matching up like I did before. When I wrote my text, the effect was the text kind of staying in one spot. My son here is moving, so I'm going to have to do two things here. I'm going to have to track him and also make the beams longer as we go. So that's going to be kind of cool. I'm going to go comma to the next frame. Whoops, that's not... Oh, what is it called? Period. Period. Thank you. It's kind of cool. And there we go. Oh, see, so he jumped a lot there. It's okay, we're going to make it go even more. Uh-oh. Nice. Oh, look at me. I'm like ready to fall here. Okay, I guess now I need to start thinking about, like, at this point, I'm not going to have the beams get any bigger because I don't want it to just constantly be shooting out of his eye. At some point, like, you know, the beam is going to be the beam and it's going to exit his eye and fly through the air. So now on this frame, I'm going to kind of imagine, like, okay, well, here is where we're going to keep it about as long, right? Like so. Look, things are now moving out of place, so I'm going to hold down the space bar and drag this over to the right. Now this thing should be like moving forward, I think. Kind of a lot to keep track of, but let's see. Oh, it was right there. He comes, I come right there. I'm actually gonna like kind of drop this down a little bit, and I think this is where I'm gonna get singed here. Boom. Let me oh my gosh, let's see. Period. Undo, undo. I'm gonna lower this. Make it start here. Boom. And boom, and then like maybe a little. Okay. Then period to go to the next frame. And let's see where it got me in the leg here. So I'm going to go back, comma. Okay, so it's right about here. So now this thing needs to start getting shorter because it's kind of like, you know, fizzing out. Period to go to the next frame. Maybe now it's like there's like a big wound, you know, with this thing. And we'll go to the next frame. And now it's just like, you know, I don't know. Let's see how this looks now. I'm going to turn on loop, and I'm going to move my little selection over, and I'm going to zoom out, control minus to zoom out, and hit play. Yeah, that works, right? I guess I probably should have, wow, it almost looks like I grabbed my other leg. I probably should have had the impact be over here. But you get the idea, right? That is essentially how you would draw this. I want to be able to read everything. Let this loop, make sure that it plays long enough for me to read. That's one of the first things I'm going to tell you. You might have to draw more frames. Also, these little details that you outline, don't use like a hairline brush. I mean, give me something chunky and thick. I should be able to see this, you know, from my desk to your desk. So depending on how far away we sit, maybe that will decide how thick the lines need to be. Okay. At any point in time, you should be saving. So I'm going to go to the File menu, choose Save. We'll do that. To turn this in, though, very easy. We're going to go to the File menu, choose Export, and then we're going to export animated GIF. And there's one thing you're going to change, and that's the size. We have like a 1080p resolution right now, but because of the GIF format, it's just better usually when it's smaller. So we're going to choose under the width. I'm just going to type in 900. That will automatically change the height for me. Okay. Then when you click Save, it's going to ask you where to save it. And when you turn this in, it should play in Google Classroom. So I hope you enjoyed. Let's play this. You can kind of see. I hit cancel. There we go. You are going to have some of this Giphy artifact. That's fine. This is our first go. Just do something fun. And that's it. I hope that you think that this was fun. Especially because you're going to make your own rotoscope next time with your own video. And that is all. So I'll catch you on the flip side. And I do function F10.